Welcome to episode 118 of the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business. I'm Brian Fisher. In the previous episode, 117, our guest was Matt Tate, discussing effective financial operations. Today's episode discusses planning for business exit with Justin Goodbread. This podcast series is targeted to business owners and C-suite executives. It reflects my 34 years as a business owner and subsequent years as a business mentor and consultant. It focuses on the various subjects and topics to help you run a successful, profitable business. They're approximately 15 minutes long, so you can listen while commuting. And hopefully, you'll find one or two takeaways to implement per episode. Based out of Knoxville, Tennessee, Justin Goodbread is the CEO of Financially Simple. Justin Goodbread is a globally recognized business strategist, best-selling author, and entrepreneur who has built, scaled, and exited multiple 7, 8, and 9-figure companies. A decamillionaire before 40, he has personally coached nearly 100 business owners to double or triple their value, creating hundreds of millions in enterprise growth. His best-selling books, The Ultimate Sale and Your Baby's Ugly, have sold over 1 million copies worldwide, and his insights have been featured in Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, US Today, and Kiplinger. Named the 2022 Peter Christman Exit Planner of the Year and a 5-time Investopedia Top 100 Most Influential Advisor, Justin is known for his no-nonsense, practical approach to helping service-based business owners eliminate efficiency, scale profitability, and prepare for a lucrative exit. As a dynamic speaker and educator, Justin has shared the stage with some of the world's top business minds, including Dr. Benjamin Hardy, Shark Tank's Damon John, Netflix co-founder Mark Randolph, and EOS founder Gino Wickman. He has spoken at major industry conferences and private business summits, delivering actionable strategies that help business owners scale profitability and build businesses that thrive beyond their direct involvement. Through his speaking engagements, training programs, and mentorship, Justin champions a straightforward but powerful mission to help entrepreneurs create a business that fuels their life, not one that consumes it. As the founder of FinanciallySimple.com and host of a top 1% podcast, he reaches business owners worldwide with clear, actionable strategies. Despite his success, Justin remains grounded by his faith, family, and service. Let's welcome Justin Goodbread. Justin, welcome to the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business.
Ryan, thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to our conversation.
Thanks for joining us today. Justin, I'm always interested in people's stories. What's your background in becoming the CEO of Financially Simple?
Yeah, so I've already started and sold 7 companies, one of which was Financially Simple. I started my first company when I was 15, sold it when I was 22, started a consulting business and then an insurance business. And then Financially Simple was one of them that I started as a marketing company, and then a financial advisory business, as well as a business consulting company. So started and sold 6, stepped into the president role of a national firm, doubled that value in 18 months, and then had a 9-figure exit there. Then, in part of that transaction, I bought back Financially Simple. Financially Simple now is we retooled it where we're helping business owners rapidly scale their value so they can have the exits they need to maintain the lifestyle they're used to.
Well, that fits right into today's topic, which is planning for business exit. What are some of the most common mistakes business owners make when preparing to sell their businesses, and how can they avoid them?
One of the biggest mistakes we make is that we wait until the last minute. You actually need to be planning your exit starting today. There are things that you could do systematically over a longer period of time that allows you to drive the value of your company. So the very first thing I would say is the most common is waiting too long. The second thing is that as business owners, in order to drive the value that we need, and I'll explain that, in order to drive the value we need to remove ourselves from the epicenter of the business. The business needs to operate without us. The reason why I say the value we need is that very successful business owners, or even successful business owners, have this certain level of income. What I'm seeing now with the people I'm talking to in the success rate, about $250,000 is pretty average for successful business owners, what they take home from their business. But then they also have additional expenses inside the company. So they may have, pay their truck, pay their trips, pay their kids, pay their cell phones, and all this other stuff that we run through the company. Well, before you know it, we could easily make as successful business owners $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year once you add what you're making through take-home pay as well as what's in the company. That means in order to maintain our lifestyle, we need to have a business that we can exit and create a liquidity event that's probably north of $10 million to pay the brokers and the attorneys and the CPAs and such. So one of the mistakes I see, Brian, is that business owners don't realize how much their business needs to be worth in order for them to maintain their lifestyle. And so they go to try to sell it, and they end up walking away because they didn't get what they thought they needed to maintain their lifestyles.
We're speaking with Justin Goodbread, CEO of Financially Simple. Justin, what are some of the key indicators that a business is ready for a successful transition or sale?
One of the simple measurements that you can do as a business owner is go on vacation for 30, 40, 50 days and don't check in on your business. If your business is able to maintain and grow in your absence, then it's what's considered attractive. It's attractive for an outside buyer who's willing to invest in your business because now they're buying an asset that's not dependent upon the owner. From a readiness position, where readiness comes into play is aligning your personal life as the business owner with the business itself. It's where the person and the business can converge. In real estate, we say this: real estate's all about location, location, locations. Business transactions is all about timing, timing, timing. So what we're trying to do as a business owner is to align our business opportunities for an exit in the future date and make sure it's not dependent upon us. That's probably number one. Number two is that our identity does not rest in the business. We are not the business. You and I, Brian, we're talking about kind of the life we're living now after multiple exits, right? And now we're living a different life than we were whenever we were operating the company. According to statistics from the Academy of Mergers and Acquisition Advisors, as well as the Exit Planning Institute, I'm one of the faculty members there, we know that statistically, only 4% of business owners who actually transact their business are happy after they leave their business. Why? Because their identity is their business. They didn't plan for this life afterwards. They didn't plan for the Corvette and the parades and the lakes and the pontoon boats that you and I were talking about in your life right now. They didn't plan for that. They planned on, okay, I'm going to sell a business, and they're operating 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and now it's gone, and now they go through a crisis of identity, and now they go into really almost like a depressionary state. And it's really sad to see. So you're ready whenever the company can operate without you for 30, 40, 50, 60 days, and you have identified your next act, your act after you leave that business. What does your life look like? Is it retirement like perhaps some do? Or is it like me where now, okay, I've exited, but now I'm having fun doing something different, moving to a different direction?
Well, it's so hard for us as business owners to separate ourselves from our business. And I went through that for about a year after I sold my business. So I had my business for 34 years, and it was about half of my life and 2/3, 3/4 of my work career. And my identity was tied up in that. It took me a while to do what I call Brian 2.0.
And I'm on like Justin 8.0, right? And so where I'm at is I'm in my mid 40s, and my coach literally asked me a question as I was considering selling my business, Brian. He said, Justin, you're young. What would you do if you had unlimited time and unlimited resources tomorrow if you're not doing today? And my answer was not that I would go out and try to make more sales. I already had a very successful business that we ended up growing from start to exit in 49 months for an 8-figure exit. It was a powerful exit. It was a lot of fun. But I told him, I said, you know what? I'd impact people. Nowhere did I say I'd go out and try to create another business identity. I'd go out and help business owners realize there is life after the business. If you build your business right, you can maintain your lifestyle, you can maintain your identity, and you can move into a chapter of your life that perhaps you never dreamt of before.
That's absolutely true. And there definitely is life after your business.
Yes.
Well, Justin, can you explain the concept of value acceleration and how it can significantly impact the sale price of a business?
Sure. So every business has a value. Even if you're chucking a truck, as I might say, you're out there cutting grass, you got a lawnmower in a truck. Every business has a value. Even if you have a website, that's intellectual property. That's a value component. Where value acceleration comes in is whenever you're working with a value advisor who says, hey, your business is worth X. And without adding additional income, just by simply working on the multiple component of the appraisal, you can drive the value up. So there's two components to a business valuation. I'm going to keep this super simple without getting technical. It's like a quarter. It has a heads and a tail side. So on the one side of the equation, you have the revenue number. Some might say EBITDA. It might be a revenue number we would all recognize. So EBITDA is on one side of the coin. On the opposite side of the coin, if we're using a multiple approach, then there's a multiple. That multiple could be 3, it could be 12, it could be 28, depending on the industry, the size, the flavor of the environment. So what we as business owners do whenever we go to exit our company because we didn't plan properly is we say, oh my goodness, we can't make enough money for us to meet our needs. So I'm going to go out and increase sales. We're going to increase revenue. And the problem with that is you're just increasing what's called company specific risk. You're increasing your problems in the company. So what value acceleration does is says, okay, if we take a step back and we look at your business as an investor, what areas of the business can we improve within the company without driving the revenue, but actually drives the enterprise value of the company? Case in point, real life illustration. I'm coaching a client right now that his appraised value was about 3.5 mil. And we show what's called a value gap where it could be worth no additional revenue, 5.2 mil. So all we have to do is move the components that the buyers would want to see and without driving more revenue, and that drives the value up. That's what's called value acceleration. It's knowing how to move the value up without having to work harder, just making it a better quality asset.
That's very interesting, Justin. What results or lessons have you seen with businesses and individuals that have implemented your recommendations?
Oh, Lord. Man, it's been fun. We've had a lot of journeys. So in my own world, I had my coach that helped me in my business. And I took what I was trained on, value acceleration methodology, earned the national awards, became the top exit planner in the globe, in the financial, in the whole world. I actually was voted on by my peers, inducted in the Exit Planning Hall of Fame as the youngest member ever. So I love training exits. What I was able to do was after I sold my company, I stepped into a financial firm. And as the president, we doubled its value in 18 months. Double the value of the firm from mid 8 figures to a 9-figure valuation in 18 months. And I could literally name off clients who have doubled or tripled their business value in as little 18, 24, 36, 48 months. Mine went from 0 to an 8-figure exit in 49 months. So it's understanding what makes up value and looking at our business from a buyer standpoint versus the owner standpoint. And in doing so, we can build a quality asset. It's almost like we're moving a bond from a single A rated bond to a triple A rated bond to make it a higher quality asset. So there's lots of success stories. We actually talk about these on our website and in my books and everything else.
We're speaking with Justin Goodbread, CEO of Financially Simple. Justin, is there anything I've not asked that you'd like to add?
The one thing I would add is that if we think we can or think we can't, we're right. Henry Ford made that statement years ago, and he changed the automobile industry. What I see oftentimes that happens, Brian, is business owners, they'll set this destination out in front of them, and then they face resistance. They face resistance from something, internal or external, the company or the life, et cetera. And the reality is that for me personally, and the business owners I have the privilege of working alongside or being a part of, is that when you have that person who can prod you a little bit and coach you and help you not make the same dumb mistakes that everybody else makes, then you can actually drive forward to that destination. So my challenge to every business owner out there is follow the steps of the most elite athletes and the most elite production of people. The top 1.011% of people hire coaches. They hire people who can see their blind side, keep them motivated, keep them encouraged, and make sure they don't make the same dumb mistakes that most of us often make. So my challenge would be is no matter where you're at in business, find a coach who can drive you to the destination you're after, who can hold you accountable, who can speak truth into your life, who can read the label being you're inside the jar and help you accomplish what you ultimately want to accomplish.
Justin, how can people get hold of you?
Man, I love to connect on social media like LinkedIn and Instagram. Just look for my name, Justin Goodbread, or you can go visit my website, justingoodbread.com. If you want to dive into the nitty gritty of the details, I have a podcast and a YouTube channel with literally hundreds of hours of details on how to do what I'm talking about doing. So feel free to connect with me. Just Google my name, Justin Goodbread. I'm the only one out there in the world. There is no other Justin Goodbread. Find me and you will connect.
Justin, thank you for joining us today on the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
My sincere thanks to Justin Goodbread for joining us today. Managing the performance of your company is one of the most important things you do as a leader. This podcast is on YouTube and over 20 podcast directories. In search, type BCF ORG. Be sure to leave a space between BCF and ORG. And don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow the podcast. If you'd like to reach out to me for business mentoring or consulting, schedule a speaking engagement, ask questions, make comments, suggest ideas, or potentially be a guest like Justin, please go to bcforg.com. There's a red Contact Us button in the middle of the homepage. All the podcasts are available by clicking on the website podcast page in the reference bar. These podcasts will be released the first and third Tuesday each month. In the next episode, 119, our guest will be Suzanne Biro, discussing executive coaching. In business, running a successful, profitable business is the ultimate scorecard. You're never done and can always be better. It tends to be more fun than work, frustrating at times, but can be very rewarding. From BCF ORG Corp., I'm Brian Fisher, wishing you the best. Thanks.